When we first went live with drones, a few weeks into it, we had an incident where a subject shot an officer.
And 7289, we have multiple callers saying she's wearing an orange sweatshirt and she's in distress in the water.
10-4.
Drone as first responder programs are quickly becoming the norm across the U.S. Successful programs know it takes more than drones and dogs. It takes DFR command.
Alright guys, so I saw this video clip on Instagram.
Today we have launched our drone first responder program. We have 6 drones located across the city.
I did have kind of some mixed feelings about this, so I decided to do some research.
Inside apartment 313,
43, stopping the vehicle, Central and 40.
So before we get into DFR, we really need to know about one of the companies behind it, Flock Safety, which is a private surveillance company that's exploded across the country by selling automated license plate readers to police departments. They market themselves as a crime-fighting tech company, but in reality, they're building a nationwide tracking network with almost zero public oversight. Now, there are roughly around 100,000 of these Flock cameras across the country, and they've recently moved into drones. In late 2024, Flock invested in Aerodome, a DFR company. So it's not just cameras on poles anymore, it's the full surveillance system, fixed cameras, microphone detection, gun detections like their device Raven, and now drones that can be launched on demand. And we're always told that this is about public safety, but history shows how quickly it gets abused. Flock has been abused by officers who use the cameras to stalk ex-partners. Agencies have used them to track people across state lines for abortion-related investigations. And the tech itself is far from perfect, has false alerts, algorithmic errors that are constantly happening. So DFR just takes that same flawed, easily abused system and puts it in the sky. It's even less accountable and even harder to challenge. So is it good or bad? Well, if you care about privacy, civil liberties, and limiting government power, it's a massive red flag. Once these drones become the default first responder, it will become the norm, and that's a future that any freedom-minded person shouldn't want to accept.
all units, citizen reports, officer needs help.
Within a minute and a half, we had 2 drones on scene.
9330. Needs help, 3742 West Market.
The officer was alive, and we had a live view of what was going on with that subject as the arrest team is going around the house. So it creates a safer environment for everybody. With Axon, with Fusus, with Cardio, it's just amazing some of the things that they've been able to do. I mean, they've solved homicides within 30 minutes.
But let me read to you what I found. The Dearborn Police Department has begun using a drone as first responder DFR system. One of the first full-scale programs in Michigan under it. 6 drones are stationed around the city and can be airborne and over a scene within 2.5 minutes of a 911 call. They're equipped with high-definition cameras, thermal imaging, zoom lenses, spotlights, speakers, and provide live video back to dispatch and responding officers.
Doc for X10 puts the drone en route within 20 seconds. Augmented reality helps orient operators, ensuring responders know exactly what is happening and where.
The aim: to give police real-time situational awareness before human officers arrive. The supposed uses include violent crimes, traffic crashes, missing persons, property break-ins, infrastructure surveys like flood and drainage issues, storm damage assessment, and more. The city also integrated thousands of fixed camera feeds across businesses and city infrastructure into its Fusus real-time monitoring system to complement the drones. At the end of this clip, I'm going to talk about a couple things like how much it costs, how effective it might be, limitations and unknowns, privacy and civil liberty concerns, errors, AI missteps and technological risks, and the potential for misuse and abuse.
Drone as first responder programs use strategically placed drones that launch immediately after a call for help. Within minutes, responders from dispatchers to field units are seeing the incident in real time, gathering situational awareness needed to act faster and smarter.
All right, so let's get into some of these things. I'll read what I found and I'll give my opinions as well. So the question of how much does it cost? This is what I found. As of available reporting, Dearborn officials have not publicly disclosed a detailed total cost for the drone program, like purchasing price, training, or maintenance, as of yet. The closest documented fee is for a related camera network program businesses can opt into, sharing their security cameras with police for a few $100s per year, significantly less than some other camera police programs elsewhere. The drones themselves are reported to be Skydio models, a commercial provider, which in similar programs elsewhere can cost tens of thousands of dollars per unit plus operating costs, like training, docking stations, data management. Actual Dearborn line item figures haven't yet been released publicly. Bottom line, the exact cost to taxpayers isn't transparent yet. For real, total cost, one would need to see Dearborn City budget, finance documents, or council minutes showing purchases, contracts, staffing, and maintenance costs. If you are in Dearborn, Michigan, or the surrounding areas, you can go make a records request to find out exactly how much they're putting into this program. As a matter of fact, anyone can do that online if I'm not mistaken.
So this has changed how we operate. In 2020, obviously our world changed and manpower became critical. Things that we took for granted no longer were as easy as they were before. And the information we needed, we didn't have.
And so you've got to find a way to fulfill those gaps. Being able to use a drone as a first responder program, supplementing the officers in the field, is kind of what led us initially down that path. The more that we got into it, the more that we were able to see the benefits.
It's a game changer.
We had a situation where there was a theft that had just occurred in a shopping center, and our real-time operators were able to pick up what we believe to be the vehicle on camera. We were also able to search the partial plate provided by the reporting party at the initial location. We were able to follow that vehicle on our fixed asset cameras until it arrived to a second location where then the drone was able to pick up the suspect in the vehicle, and then it provided overwatch until our units were able to get there to conduct an enforcement stop.
All right, let's talk about how effective it might be. Potential benefits. Faster response and situational awareness. Drones can get eyes on a scene before officers arrive, helping dispatch and responders know if a suspect is armed, if people are injured, or where resources should go.
7289, I'm 2-3 overhead. I have eyes on the individual. She seems to be in distress, waving her hands around. She's going to be in the lagoon, just west of the Urban Ecology Center.
10-4. Would you like medical head that way also?
Affirmative.
In my opinion on that, I would think that that's a good thing, right? Cops don't have to go into every situation, guns a-blazing. Officer safety, seeing a scene remotely can reduce surprises and risk. Hopefully this program can reduce the fear that officers have in their hearts, because they really seem to be afraid of everything out there, even grandmas. More efficient use of officers. Some calls might be resolved without sending a full patrol. Yeah, I'm definitely okay with that. Support for fires, missing persons, and accidents. Drones have been useful elsewhere for search and rescue or accident analysis. I also believe that's a good thing. Imagine using a drone to find a missing person. I'm sure that's going to happen in the future, and I will be applauding that when it does. Nationally, cities using drones as first responders have reported improved decision making and, in some cases, earlier resolution for emergencies. Well, hooray for that.
We want drones in docks all over the city of Oklahoma that can respond to a call, can respond to an officer, and give them eyes in the sky before they even arrive on scene. Seeing what the dock for X10 can do up here, I think we're one step closer to making that a reality.
Drones are tools to supplement, not replace, human responders. They cannot perform physical actions like rendering aid or make arrests. Well, not yet at least. Wait until they start putting weapons on them. Their effectiveness depends on operator training, data quality, and integration with dispatch. Alright guys, and let's talk about privacy and civil liberty concerns. This is what made me want to question everything. Even with benefits, experts warn about serious privacy and civil liberties issues nationally. Number 1, surveillance scope. Drones have cameras and sensors that could capture people going about everyday life, not just suspects. Without clear limits, that can feel like constant observation. Number 2, data use and retention. Questions include, how long is footage stored? Who can access it? Is footage public record? Are there rules on when drones can record? Only during an active call or all flight time? Civil liberties advocates, including the ACLU, have highlighted cases where aerial surveillance was used improperly, violating constitutional protections against unreasonable searches. And 3, integration with fixed cameras. Dearborn's program also links police to thousands of cameras around the city, and while officials say access only happens after a 911 call, business owners have expressed concern about automatic access to private feeds. Here's the thing about police. They will abuse just about everything they get their hands on eventually. I don't want to sit here and tell you that all cops are going to abuse this, but what happens when there are no calls and cops get bored? And we also have to worry about errors, AI missteps, and technological risks.
New at 4, Sandy Springs has terminated an officer after he allegedly used the city's cameras and surveillance system for his own personal gain. Channel 2's Michael Dowden has been digging into the report, and it shows the former officer may have committed corporate espionage.
This is the moment Redmond police surrounded Thor Andrews Sr.'s home back in August. Redmond PD's drone video shows officers approach him in the driveway and handcuff him in seconds. But they had the wrong man.
Hurt my shoulder, hurt my elbow, my wrists. I was explaining to them that you have the wrong person.
Police records say a Flock license plate camera flagged Thor Sr.'s car.
You have heard us talk a lot about Flock here on 9 News. They're known for their cameras used by law enforcement to track drivers and locations. But the company also makes a line of cameras for the private sector, watching places and the people inside them. This week, links to streams of those cameras were plastered on the internet for anyone to see.
Are we good?
Yeah,
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. Have a good night.
And so this family's rights were taken away today because the X on her plate was mistaken for a Y. And Officer Kincaid actually blames the city's Flock cameras for this mistake.
The drones in Dearborn do not appear to use autonomous AI decision making, like facial recognition, as part of what's being reported so far. They're manually monitored by police. However, AI cameras elsewhere have misidentified people or flagged innocent behavior incorrectly, leading to discrimination or wrongful police attention. These risks are part of broader debates about automated surveillance systems. If Dearborn ever adds AI analytics for tracking suspects, recognition, etc., similar problems could occur without strong safeguards. And I can guarantee you that's going to happen in the future, folks. It seems like police abuse is a force of habit. Even without AI, drones can misinterpret scenes. Readers at the scene might appear threatening on camera or be obscured by weather or obstacles. And here's what it says about potential for misuse or abuse. Any powerful surveillance tool can be misused without strong rules, oversight, and transparency. Risks identified by experts. Routine monitoring. Drones meant for emergencies could be used for monitoring protests or public gatherings, infringing on constitutional rights. Normalization. Tools that are introduced for emergencies can later expand into everyday surveillance if not restricted. That's pretty much what I just said. Lack of oversight. There is no federal rule governing police drone usage. Policies vary widely by jurisdiction. Important safeguards to ask for include clear policies on when drones may fly or record, public access to flight logs and footage retention policies, independent oversight of police use, limits on using drones for crowd monitoring or First Amendment protected activities. So in summary, the cost to the taxpayers, not fully public, camera system fees noted, total drone costs are unclear. The effectiveness likely to speed response and give better situational awareness. Privacy concerns significant. Experts urge clear rules and limitations. AI future tech errors not currently reported, but broader AI surveillance mistakes point to risk. Potential for abuse exists without transparency and oversight policies. So all in all, my personal opinion is this. Those drones would be good if they're only used for emergency situations. When cops get bored, do not give them access to it. Use it for missing people, dangerous situations, car accidents, things like that. Don't use it for spying, data gathering, or anything nefarious. Look, we as taxpayers would like to give police tools that they can use to help them do their job better. We don't want to give them tools to abuse us at the end of the day. That being said, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments.